Okay. I'm going to find us on my phone. So thank you all for being here. This is so exciting for me, getting to see you guys. Because some of you guys I don't get to see very often. I get to see some of you more often, but this is really exciting for me to have you, so many of you guys here with me in one place. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we are live. So hello, everyone that's joining us on Facebook or that might be watching the replay. And let's see if there's anybody else. So I'm just gonna mute Robin. So I'm not sure if there's anybody that's going to be joining us on the actual Zoom call that has questions, or if everybody's going to be joining us on Facebook, but I have questions that people have submitted to me that couldn't be here. So right now I have just a whole bunch of practitioners I'm going to just be smiling the whole time because it's making me happy. So thank you, everyone. So I just want to introduce everyone that's here. So we have Pamela, we have Martha, we have Patricia, Melissa, Sandra, Valerie, and not on camera, who's here not on camera? We have Robin. Oh, hi Bernie, Bernie's just joining us, and we have Trisha who's not on camera. So these beautiful, lovely ladies are here to answer any questions that you guys might have for practitioners, people who have actually experienced this class for themselves. And then I'm just going to invite them to share anything that they feel like sharing. So thank you guys for being here. So we have a couple people that have signed up for this next round that are joining us that might have questions about what to expect. And hi Pam and Lisa and Sheila and Tara. So if anybody who's watching on Facebook has questions, please type them in. And I have a few questions that people have submitted to me. So I've got everybody unmuted. So you might have to unmute yourself if you're still muted. So all the practitioners, please feel free to just say anything that comes to your mind that you want to share for any of these questions. So I have an email from someone that said, I already know how to run energy, work with energy, read energy, all of these things. And I have a lot of certificates under my belt, basically. And she wanted to know, does this course support, she's thinking of using the tools that she'll learn for her own transformation, healing, and growth, more than learning the mechanics of how to read energy, set space, etc., because I already do that. So what I would say to that is part of this class. I do teach you how to do that, but that's not the main part of what you'll be receiving. So for those of you who do have a lot of experience, and there's a lot of people here on Zoom with me that have been through this course and have many, many modalities and certificates under their belt, and I think I could probably allow them to speak to that better than me, although I would just say wherever you're at, if you've never run energy before or done any healing work before, I do teach you the basics. But if you have a lot already that you know, it's going to be valuable too. So I'm going to open the floor, so to speak, to those of you who are here. If anybody would like to add to that. I know a lot of you guys have a lot of certifications.
Well, I'll go first. For me, even before I did Sacred Soul Alignment, I had, I think, over 6 or 7 modalities. I already knew how to read energy and all that. And Sacred Soul Alignment just really opened me up. It started with me personally, but now because of all the energies, the alignments especially was just very, very powerful. So even if you do it just for yourself, you're going to get a lot out of it. If you want to add it to your toolbox and do it professionally, you're still going to get a lot out of it. It's a very, very powerful modality.
Thank you, Patricia. Does anyone else have any?
I'll chime in. So I have a lot of modalities under my belt for many, many years. Like all of us, were continuing to grow and learn, but I certainly wasn't looking for anything and didn't even realize that I was going to sign up for your class. I was listening. I was just captivated by some of the information, and then the outpouring of information, and then the new information where it was like, oh, wow, this is something different. And I still wasn't saying, okay, I'm going to get a certification. And then next thing you know, I was like, I couldn't walk away from this. I signed in, and then it was like, while I was in the class, I realized, oh, I'm getting certified in this. I just was like taking it in. And then as I started to kind of change my point of view, where I was like, oh, this is a modality that I can utilize as well as, gain from. And the thing is that you kind of, I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but you kind of sometimes think that one modality is very similar to the other. It's like everything is Reiki or so on, universal life force energy. And although we know that there are differences, but this particular modality, I think if I was to sit back and go, wow, when did these things change for me in a massive quantum leap recently, is since I started using these alignments or learning to use them, because I feel like I'm still learning, but I can pull them out, and I've helped other people just right in the moment. It's just a really incredible quantum leap is how I could put it, from even though I had things in place and I utilized things that are really palpable and powerful. This is it's just next level, and I feel so blessed to have it right for stepping into 2020.
Wow, thank you, Valerie.
Mm-hmm.
For sharing that. And I'm still learning. The fact is, how to use it. Never stop learning. And I learn actually every time I teach this, I learn something new about what can be done with these energies from the people that are taking the class, the ideas that people have. So it's always growing, and we're always learning. So I thank you for saying that, and appreciate everything.
Thanks.
I actually joined the class because I was doing your money sealing course first, and I saw what those alignments did for me. I moved to my dream city in Charleston the same year. I was getting multiple clients, the kind that I'm passionate about, lots of dating offers. It was crazy. I remember telling you that I was getting so much from it, that's when I decided to take the course and help other people with the same thing.
Thank you, Lisa. Well, that's changed. You're doing some pretty interesting, working with some really high-powered people.
Yes. I'm doing some matchmaking today, and I love it.
And you might need to know more about it.
Yes, we need to talk because we have a guy in Washington.
I saw that, but he's on
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Maybe I'll have to. Thank you.
Alicia, I think you're cutting out a little bit. I can't hear you as well.
Hopefully that's better. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. My internet does weird things here sometimes. Okay, Pamela, you keep flashing on the screen. Are you wanting to say something?
I do. I'm like raising my hand. So I have a lot of modalities as well. And what I find with sacred soul alignments is that it fits in everywhere. And so I decided to take your course because of every time you posted, I super felt the energy. It's so strong. And what's happened as a result is anyone who comes to me for any situation, I feel that there's a way that I can help them significantly. So that's huge, because there are certain modalities that are not for everyone or not, and this fits everyone.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yes, you're doing some pretty amazing things too, which you guys should pay attention to. Pamela Strom coming up, and we have amazing stuff to share really soon. I just saw your son. I think it was your son. Pamela?
Hey, it's my daughter.
Oh, your daughter. Hi. Hi. So does anybody Okay, Terry says there's a lot of noise. So maybe I'll just mute everybody and then each person that wants to talk. First, I'm going to mute everyone. Bernie's raising her hand. Did you have something you wanted to share? Oh, I had muted you.
Okay, can you hear me? Oh, you can hear me? Okay, good. Yeah, I wouldn't mind sharing because I think the lady that was asking said something about using the modality for herself. And well, my name is Bernie, and I was actually in Alicia's very first class that she did. And so I've been using it for a long time, and I'm specifically using it for myself and just for the men in my family. So I have another modality that I use, which is tapping, and it's helped me in my tapping practice. But just a couple of quick things here. One thing that has helped me a lot, so you're not going to know what's going to help you until you actually get into the class, because there's just so much that's offered and so many goodies and so many great things. That one thing that really helped me, which does affect a lot of people, is sleep. So Alicia has an alignment called, the Sleep Soundly one. And as I was in her first class, I was having trouble with sleep. And so she downloaded that particular alignment for me. So I feel like it's my namesake. So it's helped me. But when you're using this modality for yourself, things open up. Like you get your own downloads, you actually start getting your own alignment. So it's really more, just like she personalized that particular sleep alignment for me, now you're getting your, because of the attunements and other things, intuition that go on in a class, now you're opened up to downloading your own. And so here's a little fun fact that I just found out this summer. So I downloaded, and I've been using it for a while, and I call it, because with sleep, sometimes you have trouble because you're worrying, and I call it No Worries as my alignment. And so I run that after the sleep one. But there's been a bit of a buzz with The Lion King this year. And do you know that saying, no worries, comes from that famous song, and I'm not going to pronounce this right, Hakuna Matata?
That song very well because my oldest daughter was obsessed with The Lion King, and we watched it like 12 times a day for 2 years.
I didn't know that's where No Worries came from, but somehow it downloaded to me.
I just have to say that Bernie and I have been together from the beginning. When I first started my business online, I gave away like 35 free sessions in like 2 weeks. It was crazy. And Bernie was one of those people, and we've been together ever since. So I love you, Bernie.
Thank you so much. And I just want to mention that it's not so much that you're taking or learning and adding another modality to your toolbox, but what Alicia has actually orchestrated here organically is a real sisterhood. We're all Sacred Soul Alignment practitioners, but we're actually more than that, because, like, just to give you an example, when I say sisterhood, I really mean that, because we meet others from literally around the world. Everyone has the same goals in mind. We're all working, to help ourselves, our families, our clients. And to give you just a quick example, yesterday we were on a practitioner-only special call with Alicia, and I had a little situation, shall we say, and Alicia was helping me with it, and so many of the women were commenting and sending hearts and emojis and sending me love and hugs and kisses, and it was exactly what I needed in the right moment. And that's the type of situation that you're going to come into when you take this course. So I don't think that's something that really has a price tag, but is definitely a really big bonus.
I agree. Thank you, Bernie. And it's because of all the amazing people that are part of this. that are in this family, really, of Sacred Soul Alignment. And it's not just me that's giving support, it's everybody supporting each other. And it's really a beautiful thing. There's some amazing, incredible healers in this group. And you know, there's a lot of people who have supported the other people who are new, and you know, some incredible friendships, business partnerships. So I'm so thankful for the people that have stepped up and joined me, because you know, me doing this on my own, it would be nowhere near what it is, what it's become. So thank you all. And Courtney wants to speak to the sisterhood part of it. I'm going to unmute you. Oh, you got it. Thank you, Courtney.
Yeah, I can definitely speak to that. I have experience, I think I mentioned in a comment recently about, I feel like this group has introduced me to so much of my soul family, and I have been working with a lot of them, and there's still so many more that are out there for me to meet. And I haven't even started practicing with it with the public in a business. I'm still working a 9 to 5. So, but I am quickly moving towards that, and having the certification under my belt absolutely jumped me timelines ahead on that track. So I am very appreciative of it, and I love all of the women and everybody. I mean, there's men too. Hi, Pamela, you too. That are a part of this group, that are just, I think they're some unsung heroes out there, and I really want to acknowledge them for being bold and stepping into this too. So
thank you, Courtney. And I don't know if Martha's really planning on talking, but I just want to say that you are one of those people who always steps up, and you have supported so many people that are new to the modality and going, you know, wanting a practice partner or going through things. So if you have anything to say, Martha, please feel free, but I'm not going to put you on the spot. You can unmute yourself.
Okay. I'm excited to be here. It's a big deal for me to come on camera. I don't normally do that, but I'm happy to be here. I want to share that I love Highest Intentions. It's one of the alignments, and I use it with everything. Even if I'm running other alignments, I always want to center myself and be in a place of calling in Highest Intentions when I'm trying to help someone. I'm only just beginning to approach working with the public. I mainly became a practitioner for spiritual growth, and I am also an artist, and I'm considering using the Highest Intentions alignment. You teach us how to infuse alignments into crystals, into you know, artwork, and I also use that, like you taught us how to lift up the vibration in our own home. And it's just been wonderful to just walk into these rooms that they tended to drag me down, and the whole energy has totally shifted, and I'll be forever grateful to you for that.
Thank you for sharing that, Martha. And thank you for being on camera with us.
I did it.
Can I just share something, Alicia, before I go? Because I have an 11-year-old that's waiting for me to take her to Starbucks. So I can share. So for me, I've been doing healing work since 2000. I'm just going to share a little bit my personal story, because it's Sacred Soul Alignment, as Alicia and quite a few of you know, really opened me up. So I've been doing energy healing work since 2007. I knew as a child I was spiritually gifted, but sadly, like a lot of us, I learned if I wanted to be loved and accepted unconditionally, I needed to hide those gifts. So I literally needed to suppress who I was. So in 2017, I had a very successful manifesting practice. I was a coach, multi 5 figures. Almost overnight, my business collapsed. Like literally went from mid 5 figures to almost about $1,000. So that's quite a drop overnight almost. Yeah. And I knew since 2015, I needed to do healing work. And I was like, okay, my angels, I remember one day thinking, okay, I know you want me to do healing work, but there's a missing piece. You need to give me my missing piece. And they were like, I'm not going to say the whole conversation because there were some not very nice words in it. So I'll keep it PG. And I remember my guys were like, we're going to give you your missing piece. I'm like, okay, well, when? Like, I need it like now. And I was already in one of your courses, Alicia. And I remember all I kept seeing was sacred soul alignment, sacred soul alignment, sacred soul alignment. So I ended up, I only had the first payment. I didn't even have the whole payment. And I didn't even know when money was going to start coming in, because I'm like, I'm not going back to corporate. That's not an option for me. So I jumped in fully. Then I got a VIP client because my guys were telling me, jump in. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just jump in. And of course, doing manifesting coaching, but it's easier to help somebody else sometimes than helping yourself, right? So I jumped in fully. They end up giving me, but Sacred Soul Alignments allowed me to really step up spiritually. I've stepped out of the spiritual closet for good in 2017. I've had to tell some people more or less, you're out of my life, because they didn't accept me, but that didn't stop me. But I also knew I had my own modality inside of me. I knew for like over 10 years, I had my own modality. Well, Sacred Soul Alignment has allowed me not just to have one modality, I now have like 5. Like the stuff keeps coming out, but because I jumped in fully when that was my missing piece. Well, now I'm living my soul purpose. Like, this is not work for me. So, and as well as being in one of Alicia's first, because I think I was in your last beta class. So that allowed me to even see behind the scene, having an amazing mentor that I kind of model, because I mean, we're different, but with my practitioners on how like to run your business and all that. So if you're being called to, jump in. If you're half in, half out, nothing's gonna happen. But if you jump in fully, if you're being called to, obviously, then just listen and take action, because I'm living proof. Because I listened and I took the action, I stepped in fully. I'm now certifying practitioners. I'm living my soul purpose. If it wasn't for that, I'd be in corporate, and I'd probably be like what I call a zombie, because you're all just walking like not knowing anything. So yeah, for me, so thank you, Lisa, because like I said, this has really helped to change my life, and is allowing me to transform other people's life as well. So
Thank you so much, Patricia, and have fun at Starbucks.
I will. Thanks.
That's
Alicia, can I answer the original question? So I have a lot of modalities, and like Pamela said, your modality blends seamlessly into other modalities. It's so easy to use them together. And so that is a really great thing. But what I wanted to talk about is doing this just to get these tools, these alignments for yourself and for your family. And I don't think a day passes that I don't do some either belief work or alignments or something on myself. But I wanted to talk about 2 instances where the alignments really turned things around for my family. The first time, my daughter, she has a lot of anxiety, and she was having an absolute meltdown. And I was just to the point where I didn't know what to do. And I came into my bedroom, and I was sitting on my bed, and I started crying. And then I thought, no, that's not helpful. And so I started doing alignments on her, and she was really angry. She was just really throwing a tantrum. She's 12 now. This was when she was 11. And I just started running a lot of alignments to calm her down, to send her love, to send her confidence. And the next thing I know, my door opens, and she walks in, and she's totally calm, and she climbs in my lap and says, "I'm sorry, Mommy, I'm sorry." And it was such a gigantic shift. It was just almost miraculous. And that is the power of these alignments. The other instance, my son was going to be interviewed for his Eagle in Boy Scouts. And he was freaking out. He was so anxious and so nervous. And I thought, he was about to throw up. And I thought, he is never going to get through this interview. They're going to ask him a ton of questions, and he's going to shut down, because that's kind of his history. So I started running alignments on him. And pretty soon his demeanor just kind of changed, and he kind of calmed down and centered and was able to get through his interview easily and got his Eagle. So there is so much power to these alignments. And yes, you can use them in businesses, you can use them with other alignments, but even just buying this program for yourself, for your family, is worth 10 times what you pay for it.
Thank you, Sandra. I use them with my youngest is 14. My 2 older daughters are in their 20s, and ask me, probably one of my daughters asks me on a daily basis for sending her energy, but so I work on all 3 of them a lot, but especially my 14-year-old, who has been a challenge in my life in the last few years, and her whole world has transformed, and it's because of, you know, a huge reason is because of having the tools to help her through, you know, navigating life as a kid these days is hard. And the kids that are being born now, they're coming onto this planet now, are so sensitive, and they need these tools. So thank you for sharing how that's, you know, been your experience in your real life with, you know, kids that are growing up in this world now. I have one question, and then anybody that has an answer to that can chime in too, but I have a question from somebody in the Facebook. So she says, how did you guys find everything when starting out, and how did you get so far? So I think people are hearing these, you know, you guys talk about how transformative this work is. So how does anybody want to speak to, you know, how did you begin doing this? How did you begin weaving this in? Maybe, I'm not sure if her question might include like, you know, how did you start using these tools? And was it, you know, I know the answer to this, but was it difficult to weave them into your life? Are they difficult to learn? Are they difficult to implement? If anybody wants to speak to that, you can unmute yourself. And that's the only question we have on Facebook. I have more questions that people have sent me too.
I can give a quick answer to that. As I had mentioned, I'm a tapping practitioner, EFT tapping. And what I did for the first little while was, after I had a session with my tapping clients, I said, I just graduated, I'm certified, and I'd like to try this out. So I offered my clients a 15-minute session, basically so that I could practice with real people other than my family, so that, and people were just loving it. They enjoyed it. They got benefit from it. The energy, they felt the energy was strong, and they just really enjoyed it. So that's how I first got started with it.
Remember when you started doing that? Yeah, great way to just kind of add it on if you're already doing healing work. Is there anybody on have any healing experience before you took this class? I'm not sure. If that applies to anybody here. I'm looking at you guys. Did anybody feel like this was like brand new stuff to you when you first started with Sacred Soul Alignment? Amanda? Does that?
I've been dealing with my kids upstairs going back and forth, so I apologize. I was a Reiki master.
That's
new Reiki master before I started following your master classes and your videos. But I think it has added so much, like grown my spirituality, my well-being, my families, just changed my life. Like every day I listen to your work or work with your work, and it's amazing.
Thank you, Amanda. And Reiki is, there's a lot of Sacred Soul Alignment practitioners that have other modalities, you know, that they've learned. Reiki is probably half of the practitioners are Reiki masters or Reiki involved in Reiki somehow. And then theta healing is also another really common thing that a thread that kind of we have, because I have a foundation in theta healing. I used to be a theta healing instructor, and a lot of the work that I have created is, you know, really does have foundations and flavors of theta healing throughout, like the belief work. You know, theta healing is all about belief work. So that's kind of where the scripts that I use, that my best friend Kimberly Carlson and I created together. We both took theta healing together, and that was our background. And then we wanted to, we had other, you know, ideas that we wanted to add in and do different things with those. So you get 8 different scripts. I call them scripts because they're long, basically they're instructions. They're a set of instructions for belief clearings, for example. So, you know, clearing beliefs on all the different levels, you know, all the different places that we've taken them on. And we really kind of go in depth with that in the class of, you know, how we take on beliefs and how they can affect our lives. but beliefs that we took on in this lifetime from our experiences that we inherited from our families, that we brought in from past lives, that we took on from the collective, and all the different places that can show up. So they're long scripts, and then Kim and I created what we call macros. So it's just a phrase that you have to use to use the energy of that whole script. And that really kind of brought in the whole activation and alignment concept, is when we started realizing, okay, we can just use a few words here for this whole big long 3-page script. That was where the idea of the alignments was really born from, is what's truly possible in this energy that we live in now. And one of the questions was how many, and it was an email I got, how many alignments are there? And I counted yesterday because I've moved things around a little bit. So there's 137 alignments that you get attuned to in this class. And then as somebody who goes through this round in October 2019, you also get the very first advanced class for free, which I'll be teaching live in January, and you get an additional 20. So that's 157 alignments that you will receive to be able to use for yourself in your life and your life with your clients, your family, or whoever. 8 attunements that you receive. So I don't know if anybody wants to talk about the attunements, because that's a huge part of this modality. And then there's 3 attunements in the advanced class. So you get a total of 11 attunements that are for you, not for you to use with other people, but they're extremely powerful in your own development. Is there anybody that wants to speak to the attunements? And I'm gonna, well, if anybody does, you can unmute yourself, and I'm gonna look at the questions here while I wait for that.
Hey, Alicia, this is Robin.
Hi, Robin. Thanks for being here.
Hi. I think I can address 2 of those questions because I kind of stalked you through Anne and on Facebook and for the last year, and I've dabbled in energy work, but haven't done a whole lot until this past year. And when I got into Reiki and did your course in Sacred Soul Alignment, and what I found was I've always been on a spiritual path. It enhanced my spiritual practice so much. The Heart of Creation really got me tapped in and connected so that I could see more clearly where the direction the attunements were going to take me. And it really anchored in the confidence, one, but it gave the energy aspect that I was dabbling with all my life, but didn't have a good foundation for. It gave it more depth, and it gave it a strong foundation, and it made it just a much richer experience, and showed me really all of these amazing avenues which you can use the Sacred Soul Alignments with. I've been in healthcare for most of my life, and I'm out of it now, but I'm still helping people with death and dying process. And lately, I've been using the Sacred Soul Alignment, which I didn't know I was going to use with some of my friends who their dogs are transitioning, and there's a lot of energetic connections and hooks and cords that are binding the owners with trying not sure what to do, and then the animals are looking to me. In the one section I had with this beautiful lab, he was wanting to transition, but felt it was his job to be there. And I through Sacred Soul Alignment, I realized that I needed to help them with the grief and sorrow disconnect, and the one that really stands out was advance with ease and joy, so that I could surround the animal with that, knowing that it was going to be okay. And then the rose alignment helped me wrap all that up into a nice, soothing package. And it's really made such a difference in these people's lives, and their dogs and their animals have been able to transition with grace. And it's been really, it makes me a little emotional right now. It's really been heartfelt for me, and I can't say more beautiful things about it. And the community that when I was in class was so helpful and reached out and wanted to help me figure it out, help me learn. And so it is a soul sister community, one that I've been looking for probably years. So I appreciate it so very much.
Thank you, Robin, and thank you for bringing that up about animals, because this work is so powerful for animals, and animals are really a really good place if you're new to healing work to work with animals, because they are so open and they're easy to work with. Have you found that to be true, Robin?
Absolutely. I mean, I have 2 golden retrievers, and they're like, "Hey," and I'm like, what? Not even knowing that they would like something. If I'm listening to, I think I was listening to something last night, and they immediately, even though I had my headset on, could feel something was different and wanted to come beside me. And because I was releasing a lot, and they're like, "Hey, they were very attuned to that." And the two dogs that I worked with when they were struggling, the one poodle, he had some vision problems, and he was close to passing. We thought, and the mom wasn't ready, and he wanted to offer support, and he didn't want to go, and so he just relaxed into my arms, and just I could see that I needed to do like there was a vision version. I see clearly now. I can't remember the exact one I used, but it helped him relax and be able to like let her process all this that was happening. And so yes, they are very receptive, and they tend to take on our stuff, and so I use cleanse and protect with the animals so that I can help them kind of shake off our stuff so that we can help them, so they can help us heal.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Robin. I love that.
You're welcome.
And Pamela's saying, I've not thought about using the alignments for the death or transition process. And that's I wish that I had these kind of tools when, I've gone through losing, my mom, my husband, family members, because it's such a difficult time. But it's also such an amazing, gift to be able to be with your loved ones and hold space for people as they're, making that transition. And that's not something I've used this work for either, because I haven't had that experience in my life or worked with people recently that have been going through that. But that's what an amazing tool to be able to have to gift people with that. So thank you for bringing that to people's awareness. There's a couple more questions. You guys are so inspirational, Kimmy says. Is Sacred Soul Alignment somewhere that is that a good place to start spiritually? Does anybody want to answer that? And I'll answer it while I'm waiting. And Pamela's raising her hand. I'm going to unmute you. All right, you're unmuted.
Yes, because you give so much, it's an incredible place to start. So you really build your teaching with the foundation of connecting to the heart of creation. And that right there, if anyone who does that as their daily practice what an incredible gift right there. That's the basis of a practice, because you're connected above and below fully. And then from there, you build it throughout the teaching of the course, including one thing, and I've read this in your posts from people, that you're so generous that whenever anything comes up with anyone in the course, you're right there helping to clear it out. So really, you're working on people so that they can even realize and experience what's happening. And then on top of that, you give this gift of this energy, and it's accessing such deep energy. And so these parts of our lives where we get stuck, which might lead to illness or maybe experiencing things that you think you don't want to experience, it gets all shaken out and cleared out, and super high vibrational energy. So it's like this layering. It's almost like building a cake, when you start, and it goes and it goes and it goes, and by the end of it, you've just gifted people this phenomenal practice. So yes, it's a beautiful place to start.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I've learned through teaching this class many times now, to clear my schedule for the first 3 weeks of class, to be able to devote a lot of time to the things that inevitably are going to come up for people. Everything comes up in the first 3 weeks usually, and then by then everything evens out and people can really begin to sink into the depth of all the teachings, and then in week 5 is when I bring in the alignments. So by the time the alignments come along, everybody's got their stuff mostly unwound, and so thank you. Let's see, Courtney says she wants to answer the spiritual starter piece, and Trisha
Hi again.
Hi.
Oh, are you ready for me?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I can definitely, I had to run back out to my car to answer this question.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was a gigantic part of my awakening process. I was introduced to your work 3 months after, maybe 2 months after I kind of started my meditating and just opening up, and the breaking away from beliefs, that work was so potent for me and opened up just so much so fast. Actually, it opened up a ton, and I have done a lot of work around that, using this, and then the alignments to come in and support that. I feel like there's a lot of pieces that this all brings together, that if you were kind of trying to piece it together on your own, the whole journey, it would be really hard to find all of that this fast.
Mm-hmm.
And this just kind of brings it all together in a way that's you can digest it comfortably, and it makes it really approachable, and really you just get it. So yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. And this work is honestly a result of me living and breathing this information and this, the spiritual awakening for over a decade now, like every day, all day, saturated with it, for over a decade. And it became from a place of deep pain for me that I wanted to get out of. And so I have brought together everything that I feel is important and relevant for people to have and know. And thank you. So I've taken so many classes, and I've pulled the things that I feel like are truly the most valuable things all together in one. And people have the opportunity now that are just discovering this world. When I discovered it, I had to go to the library and go to the 158 section in the library and check out every single book. And I didn't even have money to buy a book at that time. So I'd go to the library and check everything out. And then the internet has opened up so much for us. And the energy that we're in now, people can go through what took me 5 years to go through, and I honestly believe 5 weeks of time can equal now 5 years of work a decade ago. So having these tools is really, it really helps. I wish I had had these tools a decade ago. They weren't available because the energy wasn't ready for them. So Bobby's asking, where did the background come from with regards to reaching the past and future generations? The first place I ever heard that concept was with theta healing, but it's not just, there's pretty much the energy work that is being done out there now pretty much encompasses that concept, is that we're not just working for ourselves on ourselves. We're working on our families. We're working on humanity. We're working in the Akashic records with this work. So theta healing is the first place I heard that, but it's not a unique concept to sacred soul alignment and theta healing. There's a lot of work out there and that's how we're changing the world, is because we're able to do that. We're able to access that. So I'm a beginner in healing. I know I have it. I've used it on friends and family. Will these attunements help me grow this energy healing I have? I doubt myself sometimes, even though it works. Just not sure, is this real? So that's one of the questions I get a lot from people who want to take this class and they're not sure. And, I've had a lot of phone conversations with people over the years asking this exact question. And that is really where these attunements come through. I didn't know when I decided to start teaching what I was doing that these attunements were going to come in. They came in when I started teaching the first class. I didn't know they were going to be a part of it. And the attunements are really what opens that up for everyone individually and uniquely, along with all the healing that you get throughout this course, because that's the thing that was really missing for me. I had so much to clean up that when I was taking classes, I felt like I didn't know how to do it because I had so much of my own stuff in the way that I wasn't able to use what I was learning. And I want people to be able to use what they're learning. So there's a lot of what I call cleanup work that happens. Does anybody want to add anything to that? She's new. Does this really work? Will this help open up?
Yeah. Hi, it's Sandra. I think that was probably my favorite part of this modality, was all the healing that I received. Because when someone talks about, is this good for moving forward in your spirituality? Definitely when you can clean up your crap, you're going to move forward. And so that was a big, big part of it that was so valuable for me, was just clearing out all the gunk that didn't really belong so that I could move forward. And I want to talk about one particular attunement, and that is, correct me if I'm wrong, breath of peace. Is that right? Okay, yeah, the breath of peace. And that is being able to move this energy using your breath. And that has been so helpful for me. I love that. I use it. I have my own modality now. I use it in that. I use it in every type of healing that I do. And my healing is just so connected to my breath work now because of that attunement. And so of all of them, I mean, they're all very powerful, but I think that is definitely my favorite one.
I love that one too. And that concept of the breath of peace, I took a class years ago that I paid $2,500 for to learn basically that, that one thing, which is one attunement that you get. And then, I added to it and, made it my own thing and wove in my own stuff. But that concept came through another class that I took. And, breath work is as ancient as people because we've been breathing since humanity was on this planet. So, breath work is nothing new. But when we can channel it that way and, that attunement really chunks it down to something very, very usable and tangible. And that's just one attunement out of 8. And that's not even including the teaching. And that's, I've said that I've taken many classes. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on healing classes and, to be able to pass that knowledge on, and then also to be able to be in a community with other people who have also been as dedicated to their spiritual growth and, helping each other is priceless, really. So let's see. Let me see if there's any other questions.
Alicia, it's Bernie. I'd like to answer that question quickly. As I had mentioned, I'm actually a specialized EFT tapping. I do TFT as well, and it's a specialized form of tapping. But I can't remember if it was when I was going through the course or after, because you also offer stuff after, like I said, the practitioner only call and things like that, and extra support. But I said to my friend, who's also a tapping practitioner, I said, when you're tapping with people, do you have intuition? Like, like, can the intuition kick in? Like, I had no idea. And where the intuition came in for me was through the Sacred Soul alignments. All of a sudden, my intuition kicked in. And like, even today, I had a session with someone, and like 3 times she says to me, as we're tapping and using words, she's like, that's exactly what I was thinking about her. That's exactly what I was feeling about. And I'm coaching her and saying, okay, this is what we're going to tap on, and this is what's coming up, and this is what we're doing next. And she's like, how did you know?
And, you know, we all have that. And so, you know, if you're sitting here watching this and you're like, I'm not intuitive. Every single person is intuitive. Sometimes things just need to be unwound that are blocking that or binding it up, or we need to have it, you know, activated in some way, but we all have it.
Yeah, so, and it definitely opened up big time for me, and so it's really helped me in my own modality.
Thank you. Yeah, and so you're using, you know, your TFT and your EFT, but your you know, the benefit of Sacred Soul Alignment is coming through just, you know, in your own work with, you know, without even using the tools.
Yeah, exactly. And that wasn't even mentioned before the classes started, and it's just something that happened with taking the class.
Yeah. Thank you, Bernie. So Bobby's asking, I can't wait to join. When is the next one after October? So I teach twice a year, so it'll be 6 months from now that the next live class will be. And you can actually sign up anytime and go through the video training and then come and join the next live class. But when you do that, I give a $500 discount when I'm launching, you know, the next program. So right now you can save $500, and then when I teach again, you know, I do that for about 2 weeks before I teach every time. So if you're not able to join now, just know that I'll be teaching it in about 6 months from now. So is there anybody who hasn't shared who would like to say something? I think pretty much everyone on here has said something. So I want to take you guys through a quick little exercise to feel the energy. But I want to answer one more question, and that is an email question I got that the live calls were when she's working. Can we submit questions ahead of time if we can't be live? And the answer to that is yes, absolutely. You don't have to be on the live calls. If you have something you want me to look at, you know, if you're feeling blocked or having trouble with something, or even a question about your own healing, really is a lot of the stuff that comes up in these live calls. You can definitely ask that ahead of time, and I will address it live on the calls and, you know, do whatever work comes through for that. There's been many people who have gone through this class without ever coming to a live call, because I have practitioners that have come through this class from every single continent except for Antarctica. And so there's all these different time zones. So that's definitely not a problem. I love the live calls because it gives us some, especially the way I do it now with teaching on, I've pre-recorded all the teachings so that our live calls can be, you get one attunement every call, so that's live. And then you can also, you know, of course, listen to the recording. And then, you know, our live calls are just dedicated to whatever's coming up for the group. And it's different every time I teach this. Sometimes it's a lot of healing. Sometimes it's a lot of questions. So it's different every time. And I'm always amazed by how every group of people that come through this class together are so meant to be in that class with each other. And then every time I teach it, you can come back through again. So, you know, there's some of you who are in the first class, you can come back through again, you know, 10 more times if you want to, and you can get more out of it every time. So that's all the questions that yay, Gabriella. That's all the questions that I've received, and I'm not seeing any other questions. And I have to pick my daughter up from school in 10 minutes. So I'm just going to quickly guide you guys through a process. If you're thinking about this class and you're not sure, I get so many questions from people. Can you tune in and, you know, tell me if this class is right for me, and can you muscle test? And I don't actually ever do that because I want people to to be able to answer that for themselves. And so this is what I do with people when I get on the call with them and they're asking me, is this right for me? Because only you really know that. I can tell you, I can answer questions like, the things that we've answered today, but everybody's going to know for themselves individually if it's right for you, because this class is probably not, I wouldn't say this class is the right thing in alignment with every single person's energy on this planet. So I want you to feel that for yourself. So if you're thinking about this class and you're not sure if it's the right time or if it's the right thing for you, I just want to invite you to just drop down, close your eyes, and just get present with yourself and drop down into your heart. And just anchor yourself in from your heart into the heart of Gaia so that you're really in your body, because we're going to be using your body to feel this energy. So anchor down from your heart into the heart of Gaia. Just calling in all of your awareness, anywhere you're thinking about the past, anywhere you're worried about the future. Just allow yourself 2 minutes to be present in this moment right now in your body. And I'm going to call in the energy of this October 2019 round of Sacred Soul Alignment. This particular class right now. I'm going to call that energy in for everyone. So just breathe the energy in of the Sacred Soul Alignment class beginning October 29th, 2019. So the energy of this class and also the energy of this time. And just notice how it feels in your body. Notice if you feel tightness or heaviness. And if this is excitement, and we always have some kind of fear if we're stepping into something big. So just ask yourself if this is excitement or, that fear of how this will change your life, to let that part go. And just noticing if you feel tightness. And noticing if you feel expansion. So if this is something that is going to be in alignment with you, it's going to feel expansive somewhere. And it might feel expansive with butterflies. When there's something big that we're stepping into, there's most of the time going to be that nervous apprehension. But that's a different energy than the energy telling us that it's not in alignment. When something is right for me, I feel expansion in my heart. So just noticing what you're feeling in your body. And you can even ask your body what the message is. And if you have any other questions for yourself about, this is a financial commitment. Are you making a wise choice for yourself right now? For a lot of people, this has actually opened up a lot of financial abundance because of the belief work and the opportunity to actually use this for a business or grow your business with it. So there may be a huge expansion of abundance for you, but asking yourself, is this the most optimal choice for you right now in this moment, considering the financial commitment and the time commitment? This isn't hugely time intensive, but there is a bit of time involved. And then just how this energy meshes with your own energy. How does the energy of these tools mesh with your energy? Is this in alignment for you? Just feeling that in your body. And of course, I feel a lot of expansion in my heart, but how are you feeling in your own body? Just paying attention to that, allowing that to just anchor in. And if you're distracted or you've got stuff going on around you, you can come back and listen to this and go through this process again, because I literally did send the energy in of this particular class. So now I'm just going to clear that energy out of everybody's space so that you're not walking around in the energy of Sacred Soul Alignment the rest of your day. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm happy to hop on a call. And Pamela says, I'm great about answering submitted questions when you listen later. Yeah, thank you. So I just want to thank all of you guys that joined me here, volunteering to show up and share your experiences with everyone. It makes me so happy to see all of you guys and just to see and hear about what you're doing in the world. Thank you for those of you who joined on the call. And yes, there is a 12-month payment plan. So just really quickly, it's full payment of $14.97, and then I have 3 different payment plans: 3 payments of $555, 6 payments of $297, or 12 payments of $149. And that 12-month payment plan is something new that I just implemented this year. So thank you, everyone. I've got to run and get my daughter. She's got opening night of a play tonight. And she just called me. She's probably wondering where I am. So thank you for being here, and I'm excited to see all of you next week on Tuesday when we start. Have a great day, everyone. Much love, and bye for now.